Oh, hello everybody. Welcome here or welcome back, whatever the case may be. I am here having some morning coffee while I get ready. I hope everybody is having a wonderful, wonderful start to their day, or middle of their day, or end of their day, whatever. Wherever this falls in your day to day routine, that is perfectly fine. That is a wonderful thing. I am getting ready to go thrifting with Francis. Normally it's Vincent, but I haven't gone thrifting with Vincent in a while. He's been very, very busy with a whole lot of different things in his life. So today I need to go and get something that's going to work in a film where I have to be a Viking. So it's going to be a little bit of a challenge today trying to find what to wear for that because we're filming on March the 3rd. So I have to start pulling that together. So I don't know what I'm going to wear today or what I want to do for a face. I think I do want to do something a little bit more subtle for me. And I keep getting different recommendations of ways to start. And it was recommended that I start by doing my eyes, which is something I kind of worked out over a bunch of trial and error, that definitely you start with your eyes, because that way if things fall out or whatnot, you can, when you put your foundation on, you can clean everything up without having to, muck things up. So that is a very, very good piece of advice that I was given. I do sometimes try things in different orders just to either reinforce why it's a bad idea or, because you have other things that you're doing. So sometimes it's like, if I just want to show my eyes, I'm going to whip my other stuff on first. I'm not going to subject everyone to that all the time. But I did have some people that wanted me to explain a little more about why I use what I use in the ways that I use them. So I'm going to endeavor to keep that in mind as I'm going through my processes. So, with that in mind, I am going to sip my coffee and plan out what I want to do. So I'm going to do today the eyes first, because that is the smart way to do things. Especially when I use my tape, because if I put all of my foundation on first and I put my tape, when I take it off, it does take some of the foundation off. Now, I have not found it to be problematic for myself, but those little details can affect things for people when they're wanting a certain end result. Now, I don't specifically expect to get fantastic results. So when I do, it's like bonus happy. Yay! Jazz hands. Applause. But that's just the way that works for me. But let's get into things, because I often lose my train of thought and I don't finish my sentences, and that becomes problematic. I think I'm going to use my little stack of things today. My spray alcohol. I can't find my spray alcohol. So I'm going to use this product. It's tropical passion fruit. But I find it actually, it's a scent thing. I think it's a room freshener, but it has, I can tell by the way it reacts, it has alcohol in it. Probably to dry it up while it's still in the air. So I'm just going to spritz a little of that onto here, just to make sure my eyebrow things are clean. My eyebrow things, yeah. Eyebrow things. Those things above my brow bone. Yeah, that definitely works like an astringent. I can feel it. Oh, yeah, good thing that I decided to wipe some of stuff away. Because I don't normally clean my eyebrows first before I put things on. And sometimes I'm very disappointed that the product doesn't really go on well. So I'm going to see if that makes a difference. And this is what color? Soft brown. So this is the one that I want. I think that might make a difference, actually. Yeah, that definitely, I think, lays down better on the clean eyebrow. Then you don't have oils and that on your skin there. I don't know how much difference it makes, but it does seem to have made some difference for sure. Which is a good thing. Here. Quick brow today. And I'm going to go under that with my Revolution Reloaded palette. Revolution Reloaded palette. As you can see, there's a lot of these colors that I use on a regular basis. So I just go underneath the brow bone. This is the one that I actually keep in here because it came out of the pan. And so I still use it. Let's see, I think I'm going to take this color here. Put that right under here. I am not bothering with the white or other little details today. I'm just using, this is enough of a highlight under the eyebrows. Just keep it simple. And now I can go in with this color here in my little stack. I take this little bottom one here, which I find like a mushroomy taupe. And I'm just going to take that and put that in here. Now this is by Quo. I really like my Quo. And then I'm just going to take that and diffuse that up around here. So it's still my same basic eye shape. Like the way I usually put the makeup on my eyes. Which is, you know, deeper out here. On the outsides here, a little bit. Always up and out a little. But again, it's a much less dramatic color choice. But it's the same. I'm putting things on the same. The same shapes and whatnot. Now I could stick with this, right? Because it has the little shiny one on the top that goes with that. But I think I'm going to see about putting, let's see, do I want to put the silver with this? Maybe I do. Maybe I do. And then maybe I will regret that because I'll be like going, I wish I had used something better. Let's see. possibly not the best color choice for this, because it's cool tones going with warm tones. But that's okay. That's how I discover what I like and what I don't like. You know, sometimes it just pays to do things your own way, even if it's not the best way to do it. You will learn what you need to learn to improve your own makeup. It's really challenging following what other people do, because we all have our own different abilities and different facial features and things that we're working with, things that we would prefer to downplay, things we prefer to emphasize. And that really does make it more difficult when you're trying to follow what other people do. Well, it dries down so that it doesn't really come off much on the finger, even though I was trying to take a lot of that away. Okay. I'm going to try to put that mushroomy color back in. Well, then do I want to go in with the... Actually, I think I'll take this orangey color that's in here. Let's see if I can just see it's there and get a little color out of that. So it does give you a little bit of that orangey color. Then fine, that means I'm going to go in with this little champagne-y color that I like in here. So I'm going to do that right there. And that gives it sort of a fake cut crease sort of look. Where's that brush there? Because it has the mushroomy color to it. And then I'm going to go in with my, let's see, maybe use the blue white today. Because it's already out. And there's my kohl liner. I use the Lancome. As I make my eyes more bloodshot, have some coffee. Now I'm going to take my Smashbox concealer in this light color. I just grab whatever light color I can get in a concealer that I think the tones aren't bad for my skin. And I wouldn't know how to tell other people what that choice would be for themselves. Because it has to do with the off tones, like your actual skin tone. Some people are more pink, some people are more yellow, some people are more green. My mother had olive skin, so her skin was always very greenish, which makes it very different than mine. And let's see, I'll put this on here. And I'm just going to do this right down the nose and boop. And before it dries too much, I'm going to take the little tip of my beauty blending sponge and just try to put that into the skin a little. If you do it when it's too wet, you just kind of take it right back off again. And if you let it dry too much, you keep the lines that you put on. So I find you kind of have to figure out the best working time for yourself for that. And if you have to, do one little bit, get that blended down, do the other little bit, get that blended down. Because sometimes if you try to do it all at once, you don't really have enough time to work with it before it, like as you can see, like all the little streaks are staying on there. They're not really coming down. Now, I don't mind when it's the stripe down the center of my nose because I really don't want that to go anywhere. I just don't want it to be, like pronounced looking like a drawn-on stripe. So even though everything else is drawn on. See, when you're doing these things, you're really not trying to make up a face. You're trying to make a painting of a face when you're doing this kind of extreme stuff that I tend to do. Well, mine isn't extreme. I don't do drag makeup. I'm like in between a drag performer walking around daytime and a regular person wearing makeup. I'm right in between all of that. Whether people like it or not, that's where I fall. That's who I am. And, it really doesn't have any bearing on anybody else's existence. And if they don't like it, the problem is them. They're making themselves unhappy for no good reason, which, is kind of sad. Now, I don't think I want to do too much else with my eyes. I'm quite happy with the minimal thing that they turned out like. Excuse me. But I do need to put some glitter because that's just me. And I think the one that I will use is the rose gold because it does seem to go most with the colors that I have today. So let's see, do I just want to use my finger? I could just use my finger. So it has this little base color here that you put on, which is just the sheen. And you could always put that on, just have that little sheen there and call it a day. I use this to adhere the glitter. And again, I'm just keeping it in the center. More like a halo eye, even though it's not actually a halo eye. Halo eye, you put the dark in there and the dark out here, and it's a thing. But it is inspired by and similar to a halo eye. So I'm going to take this glitter. Now the Lise Wattier glitter that I'm using is very fine. Very fine glitter indeed. But it would not be me without my glitter, so I have to make sure that put that on. And I'm going to use a little setting spray on my brush, using the NYX setting spray to spray a little, oops, on the brush. One of these days I'm going to face it towards me when I do that and not waste any of it. And then I take my fluffy brush. And now I'm going to go in with my, well, I'm going to go in with my contour on my nose, which I already had enough product on here last time, so I didn't have to put any more on. Okie dokie, so now people wanted to know what I do for my foundation, and I will do one of three things. Either just use my BB cream, in which case I like this Rimmel. I have used other ones, but I do like this 9-in-1. It has a sunscreen and everything else in it. The other thing that I will do is I take my foundation, and again, that varies. I always tend to go, unlike what most people recommend, I do a shade that's slightly deeper than mine because I'm trying to blend my freckles and make everything more neutral. If I wanted them to sort of show through more naturally, you pick something a little bit lighter, a little bit less coverage. So the other thing that I will do, if I'm not picking this and I'm not picking this, because this is heavy coverage, light coverage, I will mix the two together and get something in between. And that is actually what I do the most often, because that is my preference. So I just go on the back of my hand, I put like a glob of this, very little, and I go and I take the BB cream and I put a glob of that. Take my sponge. This is where I'm dab 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 dabbity dab 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 dabbity dab dab, where I'm just kind of blending them together on the back of my hand like a palette. And then I try and get it laid down where I want it. Because what I try to do all the time is I'm trying to put minimum product on my skin, right? I don't want tons and tons of stuff on my skin because everything I put on is going to emphasize all of my lines and wrinkles, of which I have plenty. So I don't need anything doing that to me. But that's really it. So I am literally just dab, 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 dab all over my skin, trying to sort of like you stamp it, push it into your skin. You know, you're trying to blend it into your skin so it all just looks like skin. You don't want it to look like it's something laying on top of your skin. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't achieve that, where it looks like it's just laying on top of my skin, but that is not the goal. That should never be the goal, to make it look like you've got stuff caked on your skin. See, normally I would cut out or try to cut out all of this blending and stuff because, you know, it's just going back and forth until you're satisfied. And I figure nobody really needs to see that. There. So that is how I do my foundation. So I'm going to take a little bit more coffee. This mug was a gift from Kelly, and I really, really appreciate it. She gave me that, oh good Lord, probably about 6 years ago. Still very special to me. All of my mugs that people give me are very, very special for various reasons, unfortunately. Sometimes I'm with somebody who ends up breaking them, and then I have to go, oh, I'm so disappointed. I will never be able to replace that again. But, you know, it's just stuff. It's just stuff, and people are far more important than stuff. You know, I don't know how to get through to the people that believe otherwise, right? If you put things or profits over people or things over people, I don't know. I think you're destined to be very lonely and unhappy, and your priorities are very much out of whack. You know, that's just me. That's just my opinion. Okie dokie. So, contour. I'm going in with my NYX contouring palette. Now, you will get different tones in a palette. Some of them are sort of shiny, more like highlight. Some of them are just paler colors. And then you have contouring and bronzing colors. So you will find things that have a warm tone to them. That is more for bronzing. Things that are a cooler or an ash tone make a much better shadow, right? So it's much better for the contouring. So I'm going to take this product right here, which is a cooler product on the brown, and I'm just going to put that in. And I like bringing mine from about the top of my ear kind of down towards my mouth. That's just where I want to contour. That's my personal preference. There's no real good reason for that, but I have a natural line of my beard that grows in, and that's what works best for me. So that's where I pick it. There are people that will take this and go straight across, or straight from the bottom of the ear straight across to their mouth. It all depends on the shaping that you are trying to create. For me, because I'm a man and I like the angular features of my man face, I just play those up. I just play up the angular features on my jawline and everything else. If you're trying to do something more feminine, then you would want to soften all of that. I don't think in terms of masculine or feminine, because I am a man, and anything I put on my man's body or my man's face is just my man's makeup and my man's clothes. Other people may not see it that way, but that is what it is in my reality. And since I'm the one wearing it, my reality is the only one that matters. Other people are perfectly entitled and allowed to be as wrong as they want to be. Right? People will mistake me as trans, which is fine. I don't find that an insult. I'm not trans. But it's not insulting to be trans. You know, people will say the whole gay thing. Well, I don't dress this way because I'm gay. If anything, it would be the opposite. right? Everything would be the hypermasculinity for me if that was the case. Because I am not attracted specifically to feminine. That's just me. Doesn't mean I don't appreciate it, doesn't mean I don't find it beautiful, but it's not going to be something I am attracted in that way to. So I just find it really funny that people make all these assumptions, or people go, oh, well, you just get off on wearing women's clothes. Well, no, because they're not women's clothes. Once I buy them and put them on my incredibly man's body, they are just my men's clothes. It's really that simple. Anyone that wants to read more into it than that is, I don't know, doing themselves a disservice. So I'm going to just take this sort of highlighty color, which I don't normally do, and I'm just going to put that in here and see what that does. Right? Because I'm not one to put like sparkly highlighter on my cheeks because I'm not trying to plump them up so much. But sometimes I like to know what things do. And I find if I take this little highlight stuff there, that kind of works in that respect. Now, I think I might have enough product on here that I'm just going to tap that in. Yeah, it does. And I do like that orangey hint next to what I've done on the eyes. So there we go. It has taken me a whole 33 minutes to pull this together, even though it was very, very fast stuff. I think the one last thing I'm going to do is put on my Lancome lipstick. Boom. Because I think the color goes well with what I'm wearing today. Now, I am not going to bother with mascara or anything like that today because I just don't feel like it. The mascara I have tends to flake off in my eyes, and I find that very annoying. I did not even turn on lights today. I don't see. Let's see, would that have made a difference? Not much. There, everything's up to its max. Now let's see if I take everything off again. Let's see, turn that off. Didn't see much of a difference. Turn this off. Didn't see much of a difference. All right, I guess the light coming in from the outside was enough for me today. So, as always, until the next time, please take care of yourselves and each other.